Phantom injuries and ghost riders. The Metrobus system says it's trying to stop the growing number of people faking injuries on its buses.
It's all an effort to stop cheats from seeking cash settlements and payouts. The News 4i team Scott McFarlane obtained some of Metro's internal videos. The agency says it shows passengers playing possum.
Paramedics weren't the only ones who raced to the scene of a bus accident in southeast D.C. We did too. Word of multiple injuries, passengers en route to the hospital, a bus and truck colliding on Minnesota Avenue. But when we arrived, we saw not a crash, not even a dent. Metro said no damage. A mirror on the truck and bus had touched when the vehicles brushed each other.
There are several people who were standing on the bus. Nobody hits anything. Nobody touches the floor. Nobody gets even knocked off balance.
But Metro says that didn't stop several passengers from claiming they were hurt. Years ago, that might have led to a months-long investigation, even trials. But to root out fraud and passengers faking injuries, Metro's installed 7 surveillance cameras on nearly every bus. Cameras initially installed to ID criminals and train staff, now also used to stop false claims. The News 4i team sought copies of the internal security video from the bus involved in the Minnesota Avenue incident, and look at what we saw. One passenger in the gray shirt, nearly a minute after the incident, suddenly grabs his left leg. A fellow passenger carries him off the bus, but now he's using his left leg and avoiding standing on his right. Then, moments later, he takes off and runs back to sit in the bus. That fellow passenger who carried him, the one with the purple bag, minutes later, he hits the ground, even though he initially hustled off the bus, out the door, after the incident. A staffer's later seen with a clipboard taking his information. Other footage shows a paramedic tending to a passenger who remained on board. Metro Bus says it's also using cameras to watch for ghost riders, passengers who run toward or simply claim to have ridden buses involved in accidents. Metro says it opens 220 injury cases a month now, but how many are legit? The agency says only 100 are followed up on by those who file complaints. 15% are rejected outright after Metro reviews evidence, these videos included.
You're committing a fraud against every person who's paying a fare on Metro, as well as all the taxpayers of the region.
And those fraudsters make it harder for those with legit cases.
This is Martha. And this is Sally.
A Metro bus driver hit and killed Greg Schoenborn's wife Martha and her friend Sally in D.C. in 2007 after 10 months of what Schoenborn calls exhausting settlement negotiations with the agency. He received a payout and built a music studio near Charlottesville. He says those faking injuries and loss are morally reprehensible.
It's because of Martha and Sally, for instance, you know. I mean, they're piggybacking on the death of them, you know. They see that happen. They're probably trying to get in on that, you know.
To get money.
To get money, yeah.
Metro says it's been deploying 100 of these surveillance cams each year since 2002 and just now has its entire fleet covered. But the agency says this incident on Minnesota Avenue shows the cameras haven't deterred everyone from taking a dive, at least not yet.
Metro tells us it's now paying an average of $2,400 to passengers who file claims with the agency, but a spokesman says it will not be paying any of the passengers who file claims for that incident on Minnesota Avenue Southeast. Scott McFarlane, News 4i team.
If you see something suspicious on Metro, would you report it? Tonight, we put passengers to the test. Scott McFarlane and the News 4i team went underground to show you how Metro riders responded.
Foggy Bottom Metro Station, midday. Everything seems normal. Trains coming and going. Passengers rushing on and off, some tapping their phones, buying tickets. But beneath the escalator, something out of the ordinary. A bulky green knapsack, no one standing by it, a small camera tucked inside. With Metro's permission, the News 4i team places the bag there, within sight of passengers nearby and above. Metro security reports show transit police investigate 60 to 70 unattended bags each month. Less than 5 minutes after we put the bag in place, someone calls Metro police. Agents come to inspect. The caller, unknown. But things slow down after that. We leave the bag in place and restart the clock. New crowds arrive. We wait and wait for more than a half hour. At one point, a man on his phone stands directly over our bag, literally touching it with his foot. He doesn't report it, instead boards the next train. Hundreds of passengers, several trains come and go, and the bag's either ignored or unnoticed. In the 39th minute of our test, Janet Holtzblatt of D.C. comes hustling off an escalator through the gates to security.
I thought there's an unattended knapsack. I asked the next person there if it was his. He said no, he looked like this. And so I came. I do what they say to do. I reported it.
She's relieved to find it's just a drill.
These are dangerous times in which we live.
Sergeant Thomas Sharkey is an explosives expert with Metro Police.
What could happen in 39 minutes?
Oh, anything could happen in 39 minutes. I mean, it could happen within 2 minutes. People got to be aware of their surroundings.
So many people we see who'd be in position to spot and report this bag are instead fixated on their phones. For the afternoon rush, we moved to a more crowded station, Metro Center, this time leaving the bag next to a bench beneath a light. And we watch as Eli Mirnick looks toward the bag, then the bench, then takes a seat. He does not report it.
First, I looked around to see if it belonged to anybody, and I was like, well, it's got to belong to somebody. I was like, I'm sitting down anyway. I was like, if it's dangerous or if it's an explosive don't blow up, anywhere I stand in here, I'm pretty much toast.
At one point, 20 minutes go by between reports, so we move the bag onto the bench, where several people sit right next to it. 2 passengers do eventually notify security, including Anna King of Northwest D.C.
I thought it was kind of sketchy. It was just kind of sitting there unattended. Nobody was really close to it.
Metro says it's beefing up its protection against potential explosives.
Put your phone down, look around, be aware of your surroundings.
The agency says its bomb squad now has 9 bomb technicians on staff and 17 trained canines.
Metro has made it easier to report suspicious bags, setting up a new text message alert system if you see something suspicious. That said, we were undercover for 3 hours, and just 4 people reported our bag. Scott McFarland, News 4 IT.
You pay good money to ride Metro, so it may frustrate you to know that Metro Police are busting a surging number of riders who cheat the system and ride for free. Records obtained by the News 4 I team show a 20% spike this year in passengers ticketed for fare evasion. When Scott McFarland and our cameras went undercover to investigate, we found free riders using a new trick for this old crime.
If you think that trains move fast, just watch some of these passengers. Early afternoon at the Tenleytown Red Line station, Metro Police tipped us off if we put a camera near this emergency exit, we'd see a parade of cheats. Riders slipping in and out of the station free of charge. In just the first 30 minutes, we watched about a dozen sneak through. Some running, some flashing a ticket before doing so, one carrying a pizza with them. But plainclothes Metro Police are watching too and ticketing some.
How you doing, gentlemen? Come here, come here, come here.
They stopped this 18-year-old woman. She grabbed a seat as police wrote her a citation.
Tell us why you slipped through the emergency exit gate.
This guy ticketed for fare evasion too.
Were you trying to skip out on your fare?
No, man, I wasn't trying to skip out my fare, man. I don't have much.
At Gallery Place, we watched emergency exit cheats during afternoon rush. A bold move because Metro staff were surrounding the gate. Public records obtained by the News 4 I team show fare evasion system-wide jumped by 600 cases this year. Emergency exit cheaters and stricter enforcement by police fueling the increase, Metro says.
The setup is pretty much the same throughout the system. The emergency exit gate is right here next to the station manager's tower. But the News 4 I team wanted to know, are certain stations hot spots for free riders? And we found out some are.
Top of the list, Pentagon City. Police stopped 236 passengers for fare evasion so far in 2013. Anacostia, Prince George's Plaza, Suitland, not far behind. End-of-line stations, too. New Carrollton, Largo, Shady Grove on the list. Metro's police chief says it's often teenagers.
We notice it maybe where there's a mall or a movie theater, some type of attraction where younger riders might want to go to.
But some fare evaders aren't even scared off by police. Even as these officers issued a ticket next to the gate, our cameras spotted more passengers still slipping through.
Fare evaders in Virginia must go to court and face a judge if caught. It is a criminal offense. To check out a map breaking down violations station by station, go to our website, NBCWashington.com, and click on Investigations. Scott McFarland, News 4 IT. The incidents happened so suddenly. Watch that escalator on the right of your screen, McPherson Square Metro Station, after 9 p.m. on a Friday night. Metro says the passenger is recovering. Archive Station, Green Line, 2:30 in the morning on a Saturday 3 weeks ago. Watch the man going up the left escalator. He leans on the railing, then topples over. Clarendon Station on the Orange Line before 2 a.m. on a Saturday, a huge fall. Watch the passenger in white on the escalator, leans on the rail and falls over. The rest of the passengers rush to the wall to check on him.
If you are unable to walk properly or to maintain balance, that is a serious hazard.
Elsewhere on the Orange Line, the Stadium Armory station early on a recent Saturday. This passenger stumbles as she starts toward the track. Moments later, she collapses onto it. Some good Samaritans help her back up within a minute. We shared our video with Joseph Kitchen.
Oh, wow.
A longtime Metro rider and former member of the system's Riders Advisory Council. Kitchen tells us he has seen intoxicated passengers who also pose a threat to others in the station.
Like fights and things like that, which I have seen on Metro, where fights with someone just too drunk and not able to control themselves, and someone who just really is tired of their outrageous behavior.
In all 4 of these cases, Metro says the victims are recovering and that alcohol was a factor in each case.